All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Oh. I would like to welcome friends, family, and members of the Tufts community. The procession for the 170th commencement at Tufts University is about to begin. My name is Keith Maddox, and I'm professor and chair of the psychology department. On behalf of all my colleagues, I would like to thank you for joining us to celebrate the graduation of the psychology department's class of 2026. Today, we recognize graduating students from our graduate program and all 5 of our undergraduate majors: psychology, biopsychology, clinical psychology, cognitive and brain sciences, and engineering psychology. Before we begin the ceremony, I would request that you refrain from taking photos in the stage area or near the center aisle during the ceremony. If you would like to take photos with psychology faculty after the ceremony ends, feel free to join us in the grassy area just behind this tent. I also ask that you silence your phones at this time. Thank you very much for your cooperation. And now, please welcome the graduates from the Department of Psychology. Please welcome my colleagues from the faculty of the Department of Psychology and the Platform Party for today's ceremony. Okay. The commencement ceremony for the Department of Psychology of the School of Arts and Sciences will now be in order. Graduating students, if you are standing, please be seated now. It is with great pleasure that I introduce you to my distinguished colleagues in the psychology department and members of our platform party. I'm going to ask that you hold your applause until everyone has been introduced. Now, first is our host for today's ceremony, Dean of Undergraduate Advising and Undergraduate Studies in Arts and Sciences, Carmen Lowe. We're also pleased to welcome distinguished guests and members of our platform party. From the Department of Community Health, Professor Jennifer Allen, who joins us today to celebrate the graduation of her son, James Allen. Just a little acknowledgements. From the Department of Biomedical Engineering, Professor Fiorenzo Omenetto, who joins us today to celebrate the graduation of his daughter, Stella Omenetto. Just a little wave, maybe just a little wave so they know who you are. Good. Okay, now to the members of the faculty of the Department of Psychology who have joined us for today's ceremony. Now, audience members, recall, please, save your applause until all of the faculty members have been introduced. I'm going to do this relatively quickly. Just acknowledge with a wave once you hear your name. L. Allen, Bob Cook, Jada Copeland Hayes, Phoebe Din, Annie Fast, Ari Goldberg, Zandra Credlow, yours truly, Paul Mutiner, Alex Queen, Liz Race, Jessica Remedios, Lisa Shin, Holly Taylor, Heather Uri, Nate Ward. Welcome, everyone. Our primary focus today is to celebrate our seniors, the class of 2026 in the Department of Psychology, and for years of hard work and accomplishment on this campus and elsewhere. Of course, there is one other group that we should recognize for all their hard work, support, and sacrifice over a period of time longer than just 4 or so years: the parents, caregivers, and family members of the class of 2026. You're gonna feel silly after what I say right now. Now, class of 2026, graduating seniors, please rise, turn towards your loved ones, and share with them your appreciation for all they've done for you. Today, we also celebrate the retirement of one of our colleagues, a member of the faculty of the Department of Psychology since 1986. Emeritus status is an academic honor conferred by the university to recognize the distinguished career of excellence in research, scholarship, and teaching. Please join me in recognizing the retirement of Professor Emeritus Robert Cook, Professor Cook is an expert in the field of avian cognition, a creative methodologist, and a forward-thinking academic leader who served as department chair and dean of the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences for many years. Congratulations on your retirement, Professor Cook. We must also take a moment to acknowledge that one of our family members, the late Professor Sam Summers, has posthumously received emeritus status to recognize his distinguished career of excellence in research, scholarship, and teaching that sadly ended far too soon. We miss him dearly and wish that he were here to celebrate with all of us. Class of 2026. Over the past several years, we, the faculty in the psychology department, hope we have provided you with the principles and tools to better understand human behavior and its underlying cognitive and brain mechanisms. But outside of that important domain, we hope we've also helped you to learn how to use evidence, analysis, and critical thought to evaluate the quality of any idea, psychological or not, and how to improve it. Has there ever been a time in our society's history during which it has been more important to be able to differentiate between evidence-based conclusions from wild speculation, misinformation, and propaganda? We collectively think not. As you now prepare to go different ways, you'll likely forget the particulars of the research studies you've read and the details of the many assignments that you've completed. But hopefully you will not forget the scientific and evidence-based processes that produce this knowledge. It is with these tools that you, the scholars and leaders of tomorrow, will be armed to face the many challenges that are in our collective future. On behalf of the entire Department of Psychology, we are gratified by the hope that you will bring these skills to whatever future courses of study, careers, or other endeavors that you pursue. It is now my pleasure to introduce, again, our host for today's ceremony, Dean Carmen Lowe, who will offer some remarks to the class of 2026.
On behalf of the faculty and deans of the School of Arts and Sciences and the School of Engineering, I'm delighted to welcome all of our guests joyfully assembled this afternoon to celebrate our graduates in psychology, biopsychology, cognitive and brain science, clinical psychology, and human factors psychology. First, let me extend my congratulations to our graduates. You made it. Here you are, yes. Here you are on this beautiful day at the pinnacle. Take a moment to savor it. Class of 2026, we are so proud of you. Proud of your academic achievements, absolutely. But we are also so proud of you for taking care of each other, for supporting your local communities, and for showing so much compassion to your peers and to the professors and staff at Tufts during the difficulties we all went through over the past few bumpy years. You have been extraordinary. So commencement is a ritual. That's why we're all wearing these very hot costumes today. So commencement, it's a ritual of crossing a threshold from the past to the future, from student to alumnus or alumna. This is the most important part of commencement, pausing at the threshold for a moment to fully acknowledge the gratitude you feel for the people who've helped you along this journey. Gratitude to all the people who made it possible for you to know all that you know today with both your mind and your heart. As you cross the threshold into your future, I hope that you leave Tufts carrying within your heart a passion for learning, a desire to serve the greater good, the strong bond of friendship, and a genuine feeling of gratitude. Gratitude to the parents who read to you as a child and praised your accomplishments and taught you to aim high and made sure you did your homework. Gratitude to the grandparents who instilled within you the hope of a college education. Gratitude to the friends and siblings who gave you support, encouragement, and companionship on your best days and your worst days. Gratitude to teachers who challenged you to bring out internal resources you didn't even know you had. And gratitude to your parents. Did I mention your parents? They helped you find the personal fortitude so you could complete your education. And let's admit it, they wrote the checks. So graduates, as you leave Tufts, may you always cultivate gratitude as a source of strength and light as you move forward into the rest of your life. And if I may speak for the faculty, we are truly grateful that we've had this opportunity to share these past few precious years with you, our students. You have taught us so much. Finally, I am grateful that I have the privilege of being here with all of you today to celebrate these outstanding graduates. Congratulations.
I now introduce the Director of Graduate Studies in Psychology, Professor Paul Mutiner, to recognize the accomplishments of our graduate students.
We shall now recognize the graduates from the Department of Psychology for the degrees of Doctor of Philosophy and the second degree of Arts and Sciences, Masters of Science. Because our doctoral candidates complete their degrees at various times during the year, and because our master's students often earn their degree en route to a PhD, some students are unable to be here today. Nonetheless, we celebrate all of the graduate students who are earning their degrees this academic year. And this year, we would like to recognize the master's candidates who are here in person. So I ask those master's candidates who are in attendance today in person to please rise and join us on the stage. Distinguished guests and members of the faculty, I have the honor to present to you these candidates for the degree of Master of Science from the Department of Psychology. On behalf of the Faculty of School of Arts and Sciences, I ask that these degrees now be conferred. Himanshu Chaudhary, Understanding the Effects of Misinformation on Eyewitness Memory in Older Adults. Madeline Youngbluth, Examining the Origin of Fear Conditioning and Extinction Abnormalities in Identical Twins Discordant for PTSD and Trauma Exposure. Apoorva Valampati, Beyond Self-Report, Direct Detection of Depressive Symptoms from Neural Activity. Congratulations to our graduates. I now call to the podium Director of Undergraduate Studies in Psychology, Professor Lisa Shin, to recognize the academic awards and honors theses of our undergraduate students.
Okay, it is with great pleasure that we celebrate the accomplishments of seniors who have won departmental awards this year. Award winners, as I announce your name, please stand. But audience members, please hold your applause until all winners for each award have been announced. The Thomas Harrison Carmichael and Emily Leonard Carmichael Prize Scholarship was established in 1950 by Leonard Carmichael, the class of 1921, 7th president of Tufts College and psychology faculty member, in memory of his parents. This prize is awarded to assist an academically able junior or senior who has shown outstanding ability in physiological psychology. This year's senior recipients are Maheen Ali, Gabriel Stein, and Kaylee Takaoka. the Class of 1921 Leonard Carmichael Prize Scholarship Fund is awarded by the Department of Psychology to third-year students whose academic achievements have been judged as outstanding. This prize was established through gifts of the members and friends of the Class of 1921 in honor and memory of their classmate, Leonard Carmichael, 7th President of Tufts, Secretary of the Smithsonian Institution, and Vice President of the National Geographic Society with special responsibilities for research and exploration. Seniors who won this award last year are Parisa Arastu, Soumya Kumar, Sanaya Leon, Kaylee Wong, and Grace Wilkinson. The Priscilla N. Dunn Prize Fund was founded in 1980 by Doris Sheff in honor of her daughter, Priscilla N. Dunn. It is given annually to undergraduate psychology majors with an excellent record and great promise of future achievement in the field. This year, we are pleased to present the award to the following seniors: Kashfi Ahuja, Jude Abdel Haq, and Rachel Wong. The Joanne Mary Sullivan Prize is awarded to students who have shown excellence and promise in the study of psychology. This prize was established in 1990 in memory of Joanne Mary Sullivan, who held a BA in psychology, by her parents Eugene and Vilma, her brother Eugene Jr., and family and friends. This year, we are pleased to present the award to Katya Ivanova. The Sal Sirachi Prize was established in 2004 in memory of our colleague in the Department of Psychology, Sal Sirachi. It is awarded annually to a Tufts student who exemplifies Professor Sirachi's intellectual breadth by combining excellence in psychology with a demonstrated interest in humanities. This year's award recipient is Natalia Sokaris. The Sam Summers Prize was established in memory of Tufts University professor Sam Summers. Professor Summers was an experimental social psychologist whose academic research and scholarship focused on two often overlapping topics: how race affects social perception, judgment, and interactions, and the intersection of psychology and law. The Sam Summers Prize is awarded annually to a Tufts undergraduate student who has demonstrated excellence in the study of psychology and whose academic pursuits and/or demonstrated interest exemplify the spirit of Professor Summers' work and legacy as a thoughtful, caring, warm, and insightful human dedicated to knowledge, justice, resilience, and civic engagement. The recipient of this first annual Sam Summers Prize is Shatoni Bailey. Everyone, once again, please join me in congratulating with applause all of this year's award winners. We now turn to those students who have successfully completed and defended an honors thesis this year. The senior honors thesis is a challenging, enriching, and daunting task. It requires independence, creativity, scientific rigor, superior quality of mind, and perhaps most of all, perseverance. Each of the following scholars has exhibited these qualities and more in developing a novel research hypothesis, designing an empirical study to test it, collecting and analyzing their data, and defending their written and oral work in front of faculty. Students graduating with departmental thesis honors, as I read your name and thesis title, please stand to accept our recognition. And audience, you may applaud after I'm finished with the thesis title and naming the advisor. All right, so here we go. Emma Castro, thesis title, High-Frequency Transcranial Magnetic Stimulation to the Left Dorsolateral Prefrontal Cortex for Comorbid Major Depressive Disorder and Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder. Faculty advisor, Lisa Shin. Hannah Guglin, thesis title, Neural and Motor Entrainment, Exploring the Role of Music on Neural and Motor Function in Parkinson's Disease, faculty advisor, Liz Race. Michael Kayla, thesis title, Differential Neural Habituation Within and Across Trials in Children with Autism and Fragile X Syndrome, faculty advisor, Paul Mutner. Sanaya Leon, thesis title, Romantic Expectation for Ourselves and Others, an exploration of the effect of social desirability bias and impression management on U.S. college students who date online. Faculty advisor, Keith Maddox. Christy Park, thesis title, Children's Use of Source Information in Gossip Evaluations, Direct Observation versus Hearsay. Faculty advisor, Annie Fast. Estelle Roaring, thesis title, Exploring and Validating a Pose Estimation-Based Method of Quantifying Phonological Sign Similarity. Faculty advisor, Ari Goldberg. Gabriel Stein, thesis title, Predicting One's Memory and Remembering Landmarks on a Map, Repeat Learning. Faculty advisor, Holly Taylor. Kaylee Wong, thesis title, Learning Through Failure, Caregiver Praise and Motivation in Children's Problem Solving. Faculty advisor, Paul Mutner. Thank you all very much. One more round of applause for all the thesis writers. Thesis students, you may be seated. And now I welcome back Professor Keith Maddox to the podium.
We're going to be here all afternoon if you keep that up. Okay, I now call on Professors Holly Taylor and Heather Uri to the stage and podium, and Professor Lisa Shin to the photo location on stage.
We shall now recognize the candidates for the first degree in Arts and Sciences, the degree of the Bachelor of Arts and the Bachelor of Science. Seniors, we will have 2 lines of graduating students coming up to the stage, so please follow the guidance of the staff when they call your row.
All right, students, this may be the very last time that we faculty get to say this to you. Please listen carefully to the following instructions. Please stay in your lines, and when you come up onto the stage, please hand your degree card to either me or Professor Taylor. After we read your name and hand the card back to you, please proceed to the photo location that's closest to your side of the stage. Pause for a photo with Professor Shin or Professor Maddox, and then exit the stage down the center staircase. And now, will the first rows of candidates for the first degrees in Arts and Sciences please rise and proceed to the stage.
Hannah Guglin, biopsychology.
Fatu Orukatan.
Ren Kritzer, psychology.
Zoe Immershine Howe.
Jada Potter, clinical psychology.
James Allen, psychology.
Marquisha Policier, psychology clinical.
Martin Augustine Miranda Carpio, biopsychology.
Elizabeth Abinai, cognitive and brain sciences.
Nance Hu, clinical psychology.
Andrea Liao, biopsychology.
Kashfi Ahuja, psychology and international relations.
Pichaporn Liao, psychology, clinical biology.
Sal Gwynn, clinical psychology.
Gabriel Stein, biopsychology.
Rowan Cunningham, psychology.
Stella Chiara Amanetto, clinical psychology.
Keanu Raymond Prescott, psychology.
Denari Simon Ponte, clinical psychology.
Hao Tian Gary Yang, psychology and education.
Emma Jane Castro, cognitive and brain science and French literature.
Kaylee Jiayi Wang, psychology, clinical psychology and child study and human development.
Keiko Yuasan, biopsychology.
Mina Isabel Shimada, computer science and cognitive and brain science.
Maximilia Beatrice Dubrow, psychology.
Katie Sarang Ryu, biopsychology.
Amelie Grafe Wickham, cognitive and brain sciences.
Daniel Yang, biopsychology.
Katya Ivanova, cognitive and brain sciences.
Jonathan Lee, biopsychology.
Aria Chavla, cognitive and brain sciences.
Morgan Park, psychology.
Shauna Malhotra, psychology.
Trevor Kim, cognitive and brain sciences.
Sophia Valencia, psychology.
Angela Jang, engineering psychology and studio art.
Shaja Chowdhury, computer science and cognitive and brain sciences.
June Cho, engineering psychology and studio art.
Suthilea Mohan, clinical psychology.
Benjamin Ethan Gordon, psychology.
Donovan Raphael Sanders, psychology.
Margaret Fortin, biopsychology.
Tegan Sidnor, biopsychology.
Spencer Rosenbaum, psychology.
Chisum Nam, cognitive and brain sciences.
Aiden Sebastian Kirsch, biopsychology.
Sanaya Leon, psychology.
Andrew Krimsky Klossy, engineering psychology.
Elias Leggett Barr, engineering psychology.
Noah Kenneth Brenner, psychology and international relations.
Bijin Basu, cognitive and brain sciences.
Ava Moses, psychology.
Estelle Josephine Roaring, cognitive and brain sciences.
Gabby Edith Delinsky, biopsychology.
Roderick Atwood, cognitive and brain sciences.
Ava Galbraith, biopsychology.
Yael Waxman, cognitive and brain sciences.
Casper Schilling, psychology.
Joey Marmo, human factors.
Natalia Lee Wright, cognitive and brain sciences.
Ashley McKinnon Doucette, cognitive and brain sciences.
Emily Storer, biopsychology.
Estela Maria Lectora de Aramas.
Nathaniel Faye Walker, cognitive and brain science.
Maria Perdomo, cognitive and brain science.
Carly Ayaculo, psychology.
Eva Caro, cognitive and brain sciences.
Lydia Dunham Eastburn, biopsychology.
Miguel Jose Busquets Pelez, biopsychology.
Anna Olivia Griffin, psychology.
Miguel Villanucci, psychology.
Sarah Crossett, psychology.
Paul K. Fabricki, clinical psychology.
Emma Laverne Norman, biopsychology.
Andrew Fiedler, psychology.
Ella Sophia Norris, psychology.
Got it. William Paul Bornman, engineering psychology.
Julia Ann Griffiths, psychology.
Liam O'Shea Milne, engineering psychology.
Abigail Dawn Gray, biopsychology.
Catherine Apichai Dujudom, psychology.
Silas Grossman, economics and psychology.
Stella Zhu, psychology.
Joshua Blum, cognitive and brain sciences.
Yutong Zhou, clinical psychology.
Tucker Livingston, psychology.
Ariana Alvarez Pena, clinical psychology.
Alexandra Demchuk, cognitive and brain sciences and Spanish with a major in cultural studies.
Victoria Ray Donahue, clinical psychology.
Elizabeth Bird Waters, psychology and studio art.
Sophia Francis Lowry, clinical psychology.
Jude Abdel Haq, cognitive and brain sciences, child study and human development.
Abigail Flora Klein, cognitive and brain sciences.
Dennis Dow, psychology.
Lauren Olivia Aliota, psychology.
Patricia Clarence Clemente, cognitive and brain sciences.
Hannah Gabrielle Rappaport, cognitive and brain sciences.
Anthony and Sonia Parziale, cognitive and brain sciences.
Emily Shimei Sullivan, clinical psychology and English.
Kathleen Dole, psychology.
Crystal Coleman, cognitive brain sciences and Spanish and cultural studies. Argia Talaprada, engineering psychology.
Jada Awa Gyasa, psychology clinical and child study and human development.
Sofia Valdebenito, engineering psychology.
John Bennett Chian Chung, engineering psychology.
Christy Sangoon Park, cognitive and brain sciences and philosophy.
Chelsea Lum Camp, human factors.
Maya Lonnie Anderson, clinical psychology.
Francesca Jade Depay Wan, cognitive and brain sciences and child study and human development.
Samantha Rodriguez Sanchez, biopsychology.
Grace Moore, biopsychology.
Parisa Aratsu, engineering psychology.
Sion Tasema, engineering psychology.
What's your major? Navia Bharati Sameta, biopsychology.
Ahmed Foued, engineering psychology.
Mustafa Ayaz, psychology.
Hessa Al-Ajil, psychology.
Samantha Pokorny, community health, clinical psychology.
Bianca T. Handal, cognitive and brain sciences.
Molly Sikma, biopsychology.
Samya Kumar, cognitive and brain sciences.
Caroline Patricia Harkness, psychology, clinical, child study and human development.
Charlie Hines, economics and psychology.
Shatoni Bailey, clinical psychology.
Melanie Golden, biopsychology.
Belinda Poe, quantitative economics, psychology.
Gabrielle Kruczkowski, biopsychology, child study and human development.
Angelique Zahn, cognitive brain science, biology, biomedical sciences.
Lauren Degas, biopsychology.
Abian Tafara, biopsychology.
Catherine Elizabeth Walker, engineering psychology.
Blair Taylor Washington, psychology.
Sammy Liu, engineering psychology.
Makaya Imani Collins, psychology.
Allegra M., engineering psychology.
Francis Powell, international relations, psychology.
Sa-Yun Soy Park, engineering psychology.
Chalia Elsie Monica Holder, psychology, anthropology.
Gina Boltz, cognitive and brain sciences.
Tony Chanel Sunkar, psychology.
Isabella Lee Chambers, biopsychology.
Melissa Valson, cognitive and brain sciences.
Madeline Dunn, biopsychology.
Rose Carlene August, psychology.
Skylar Harbison, biopsychology.
Juliet Neka Utebulam, biopsychology.
Rachel Wong, psychology, child study and human development.
Lainey Varmina Louisjam, biopsychology.
Rachel Verbrugge, psychology and environmental studies.
Kaylee Huh, clinical psychology, science, technology, and society.
Disha Bomick, cognitive and brain sciences.
Mio Katamatsu, biopsychology.
Grace Wilkinson, clinical psychology.
Merwan Amog Malakapali, computer science, cognitive and brain sciences.
Josie Bunkin Miller, biopsychology.
Max Rotmuth, biopsychology.
Owen Swagel, engineering psychology.
Carly Cohen, cognitive and brain sciences.
Khalid Amor Calhoun, psychology.
Hillary Morrow, cognitive and brain sciences.
Taylor Hill, cognitive and brain sciences.
Kira Rolski, biopsychology.
Andres Rubalcaba, engineering psychology.
Sophie Axelrod, psychology, political science.
Sydney Wooten, psychology.
Lakshmi Wheeler McCulloch, cognitive and brain sciences.
Arav Gupta, psychology and economics.
Kaylee Inez Takaoka, biopsychology.
Casey Misha Afshani, human factors.
Amy Zhang, biopsychology.
Annika Josephine Grota, human factors.
Olivia Ashley Levis, psychology.
Zoe Wong, engineering psychology.
Hunter Payne, psychology.
Ga Young Ivy Chang, engineering psychology and studio art.
Marcello Paganini, cognitive and brain sciences.
Hino Shu, biopsychology and studio art.
Alejandro Manuel Recio, clinical psychology.
Stella Matsukawa, engineering psychology.
Ratha Nori Lahiri, biopsychology.
Dominic Matos, psychology.
Isaac Dexter Joffrey, psychology.
Heidi Rono, cognitive and brain sciences.
Owen Ruttenberg, biopsychology, chemistry.
Charlotte Parsons, sociology and clinical psychology.
Jian Leong, clinical psychology and English.
Matthew Shea O'Connor, clinical psychology.
Vania Ramadan, engineering psychology.
Sophie Ella Gower, biopsychology.
Christy Howe, human factors, science, technology, and society.
Chloe Naxon Schechter, psychology.
Kiki Chang, biopsychology.
Zaira D. Cordova, psychology.
Hongru Ten, psychology and English.
Kiara Madison Rogers, biopsychology, medical sciences track.
Calvin Cummings, engineering psychology.
Kai Chen Yao, psychology.
Wahib Solomon, biopsychology and Latin.
Sylvia Stephanie Bravo, engineering psychology.
Natalia Yasmin Atabaki, engineering psychology.
Ashley Prazuti Brzezinski, biopsychology.
Chianyi Nasi Young, human factors.
Hannah Jang, cognitive and brain sciences. Rose Tinkjian, biopsychology. Jack William Moore, psychology. Arman Sika, cognitive and brain sciences and computer science. Clint Pinmo Chen, psychology and film and media studies.
Tracy Tawia, clinical psychology and community health.
Adam Leibowitz, biopsychology.
Regina Ajiman, Biopsychology and Community Health.
Chris Tan, Clinical Psychology and Child Study and Human Development.
Ann Tran, Human Factors.
Eli Ray Edelman, Biopsychology.
Tamia Zelia Dubidad, Clinical Psychology.
Kira Tam, Cognitive and Brain Science Studies.
All right, we are now halfway through our ceremony. Oh, sorry. We now conclude this ceremony. We wish to thank the staff members from the Department of Psychology, Student Services, and the Dean's Office that are responsible for today's event. Audience members, please remain in place until after both the platform party and the graduates have recessed. Once again, on behalf of Tufts University and the Department of Psychology, congratulations to the graduating class and all of their guests gathered here today. We are so proud of you, class of 2026.